Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. For Muslim, can we start with Ummu Kitab Al-Fatihah? Okay, guys, how are you?
Good, Doctor.
Good.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, Doctor.
Thank you. Alhamdulillah. Good morning. So good to see you still disciplined in your class, right? You're still come or join the room at 8 o'clock. Thank you very much. Yeah, I really appreciate your effort. Okay. Um, Today will be I think we will finish this chapter number 2, chapter the software quality standard, right? So we just have only around 10 slides about Malaysian standard development structure. So before we start, I think as usual, I need to allow me to record this session. Again, for those who are just coming, join the session, can you log on to your Putra Blast and assign your attendance? I hope that you can see my slide now, my presentation slide. Can you see it, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, Doctor.
Thank you, Anis. Thank you, Amar. Yes, thank you. Right. So, we already learned about ISO, right? The ISO 9000, 9001. That one is the international standard, right? It's the standard that recognize, I think, most of the country in the world, right? So, but there is there should be, or there also, yeah, there is a Malaysian standard, meaning that the local standard, meaning the standard that developed by the local country, right? So this is more to tackle about the localization issue, right? So things that the rules and regulation for the country, it is not for international, right? It can be international if some international standard want to adopt the Malaysian standard, but normally Malaysian standard is developed for the country, right? For example, there is a standard. I think some of you are using motorbike, right? And then you have using your helmet, right? So normally your helmet, it is something like you need to have a SIRIM certified, and then SIRIM certified they have something like MS, right? Malaysian standard there. So you have to or comply with the Malaysian standard in order to produce the helmet for the motorcyclists, right? So this is an example of Malaysian standard. They didn't mention that okay, this should be a ISO standard and so on, but they put it Malaysian standard as a what do you call it, the standard that they have to fulfill, right? And then this Malaysian standard, it is not something like all you need to develop new, right? Malaysian standard also can be something like you have a Malaysian standard and then you adopt some of the standard that are available in the markets. Let's say for example, you have want to have a Malaysian standard for a smart card, right? Smart card, the one that card that we have, the bank card, the ID card, some other card that have chip. If you want to have something like standardization of the card, you can just make a Malaysian standard, and then after that you can ask to adopt the ISO standard, the 7816, the standard for the smart card to be the standard of the your country standard, right? So it is, you can develop, and also you can develop. Sorry, you can adopt the one that available in the international market. Okay, so Malaysian standard development structure. So we will learn today about how Malaysian standard is developed. So how the structure on how to develop it, right? So Department Standard of Malaysia. This is the one who are the national body for Malaysia, established under Standard of Malaysia Act in 1996. So it is a bit late than the ISO, right? The ISO is 1946 or 47, if I'm not mistaken. Our Department of Standard, we established in 1996, right? They have an act for that, so it is a national interest, right? So Siren Berhad is appointed as a sole national standard development agency by DSM. So DSM is a Department of Standard Malaysia, right? Malaysia. And then under that there should be a sole standard developer, right? So the standard developer is called Sirim Berhad. It's a public listed it's a company, or it's a JLC. It's a or we can also, normally we say that it is a semi-government, right? So it's a Sirim Berhad. It is they are appointed as a sole national standard development, right? They develop the standard, and that is controlled by the uh, Department of Standard Malaysia. Right? It is different. It is not one department or one whole organization, but this is a separate organization but related. Okay. So DSM is responsible. So what is the responsibility of DSM, the Department of Standard Malaysia? They are responsible for all policy matters regard to standardization, and operational responsibility is delegated to Syrian Berhad. So they are more towards policy, right? Policy matters regarding to the standardization on how to the policy on how to develop the standard and so on. But to operate it, right? Meaning that to develop it, to sell the standard and so on, it is the Syrian Berhad responsibility. So they have something like more towards policy, more towards the whole picture, but the operational side is done by the Syrian Berhad for the standard, right? Amendment Act of 549 in year 2012, right, allowed Standard Malaysia to appoint more Standard Development Agency or SDA for faster development of Malaysian standard according to its area of expertise. So now they are allowed. Previously, something like the sole national standard for the Syrian Berhad, but now Standard Malaysia allowed to appoint more software development agency or SDAs to faster development of Malaysian standard MS according to its areas of expertise. So if something like a group that has really high expertise on one topic, they can develop. They can ask for the standard development agency, be a standard development agency for Malaysian standard, right? So previously, so national standard for by SIRIM, but now in 2012 they allow some standard Malaysia allowed to appoint some other party to do that, right? But of course, uh, Standard Malaysia will control that, right? So DSM and Sirim Berhatas. So this is the so-called the differentiation, right? So what is DSM? So they have something. They develop the policy and the implementation of the policy. They participate in international and regional bodies, right? Because standard, they have something like international, right? International group of standard and so on. So DSM will participate for that in order to something like policy development or policy enhancement and so on. So for the standard, DSM as a representative of Malaysia, right? Another one is accreditation of laboratories and also certification bodies, right? So as I mentioned to you before, when in the case of ISO itself, they don't give certification, but they give an accreditation to a laboratory or a certification body or company who do the certification. Same with this, right? DSM is certified the body to what do you call that, do the certification. If they have to do the certification of a Malaysian standard, so if the company want to do that, then they have to go to the DSM and then ask for to be a certification body, right? So and then if they have something like because in the case of some material certification, right? Material certification, something like if you want to validate this material according to Malaysian standard, they have to send to uh, a lab, right? Laboratories. So that lab have the what do you call that? That lab have certified to be a lab that can operate a certification or can make a certification of a product. But that lab itself have to be accredited, right? So meaning DSM will do this accreditation for the lab that do the certification, right? That what call it, perform the certification. So what is that one is DSM. First, you need to understand they are more towards the policy, right? They're more toward the policy. They are government bodies, right? They are government bodies. They are from the government of Malaysia. So they are more toward the policy in they see the policy in terms of the national interest and so on, right? Policy development and also policy implementation, right? And then they participate for the international and regional body, as I mentioned to you before. They are the representative of Malaysia for setting up all the policy, and also and it's not only regional, also for international regarding for Malaysian interests. And then they do the accreditation. Okay, they accredit. Okay, this lab can do this testing for the ISO 7816, the cut testing, right? And certification body. Okay, this body or this company or this organization can do a certification for MS ABC, MS 123, the Malaysian standard. Yeah, so they give the accreditation for this organization. Okay, what about Syrian Berhad, right? We call this as something like a semi-government or JLCs. They are managing the standard development infrastructure, right? So, in order to have to develop software development, standard development, develop a standard, you need to have an infrastructure, because the standard is not done by the Syrian itself. They have to ask for expertise to come. They have to ask for someone to come, and then they have to provide an infrastructure, something like the lab, something what do you call that, communication medium, and so on. So they have to do that. Serum is providing this what do you call it, standard infrastructure, and also they manage that, right? Managing Malaysian representation in regional and international standard bodies, right? So they are more towards the implementation of the or managing the standards. So SIRIM will be representative of Malaysia in terms of uh, operational and also managing of the standard. It's different than the SM, right? The SM more towards the policy, right? The government policy, the national interest policy, and so on. So they are more towards the policy for the SM, right? For SIRIM, they are more towards the managing operational of the uh, standard itself. Okay, and then they do the publishing, printing, and distributing Malaysian standard, right? So Serum will do the publishing, they do the printing and so on, and also if you want to buy the Malaysian standard, then you have to go to Serum, pay some money, right, according to the standard price, and then you can get it, right? In I think you can have it in hard copy and also soft copy. You just pay some money for that, right? Okay, this is DSM, right? You can see this is DSM. So this is the for further clarification of the responsibility of DSM and also the responsibility or the activity for Sirim Berhad. So you can have something like this. Previously, the DSM is under the Ministry of Science and Technology, if I'm not mistaken, mostly. Now they are more towards they are under the Ministry of International Trade and Industry. Okay, because this is more toward related to the industry. So now MITI take DSM under their flag, right? So there is a policy and advisory here. You can see it here. So they are Malaysian Standard and Accreditation Council of or MSAC. So this is more towards the policy and advisory, and then Department State Standard of Malaysia, right? So located here. So under this one, they have a national standard and accreditation body. Under the Department of Standard Malaysia, they have National Standard Committee, right? And then they have National Accreditation Committee, and they have National IEC Committee. So this is Malaysian participation in IEC, and then this is development and use of Malaysian standard, and this is accreditation body. As I mentioned to you before, the task of DSM is more to the policy, right? The National Standard Committee, and then they also do the accreditation of certification body, right? So under this, right, National Standard Committee, under this one, it is sitting task, right? So they have something like 20 sectorial committees overseeing the national standard and also development, and also they have external technical committee, right? So for the SWOs. Okay. Uh, in 2004, right? SIRIM already have 20 sectoral committees. They have technical committees, right? The technical committee, the one who do the develop the what do you call that, the standards, and also review the standard, right? So this is something like crucial. They are expertise in their own field, so they are appointed to be the technical committee, right? So we have 234 in 2004. Current standards project undertaken is 600 standard at this time in 2004. Standards Writing Organization (SWO), as I mentioned to you just now, the SWOs. We have 14, and then committee members involved is 2,400. But this numbers is increasing. So the thing that we have is in 2004. Okay. So Standard of Malaysian Act, right? We have Article 15(1), 5, and also 5 in bracket 3. Requirement to publish a government gazette, right? Approvals, and also withdrawal, right? So any the requirement of the government gazette that for the standard need to be approved and also withdrawal, right? Approved, we need to publish that the standard is approved, and also we need to publish or we need to make an announcement if this standard is withdrawal, meaning that it is not used anymore, right? Mandatory provisions for opportunity to comment before adoption of standard, right? So before you make that as a standard, right? People have already developed that, right? The one that a technical committee, and then you have the sectoral committee, and so on. After they have already written the standard, the draft of the standard, then you have to publish first. Publish in terms of getting people's opinion, right? Getting the public opinion on that. Then after that, if there is no public opinion, or the public opinion, public requests have been addressed, then after that, then you can publish that standard, right? So this is the act, the requirement in standard of Malaysia. It is not simply like you form a group, yeah, you form a group, then after that the group develop the standard, and then after that you make a draft, and then you check here and there, then after that you publish that. No, it is not something like that. So from the bullet number 2, you have to give an opportunity to public to comment before the adoption of the standard, right? So for bullet number 1, the standard need to approve, and then you have to publish that it is approved. Then you also have to announce or publish that this standard has been terminated or withdrawal or obsolete, something like that. Okay. Next, implementation of code of good practice, right? Policies and procedure governed by the quality manual, right? Specify adherence to code practice. IEC, ISO IEC 59, 1990 code of good practice for standardization, right? So this is the quality manual. Okay, this is the step, right? This is the step. I already mentioned to you a bit rough on how the standard developed. So for step 1, okay, for example, this is for example, you want to make a standard of something, right? For example, you want to make a standard for safety related software, right? Formulation standard. No, it's not international standard, it's formulation standard. So the step number 1, first, you have a group, right? You have a group. Okay, we want to request for a standard for a safety related software, right? And then you have to make a new proposal. You have to make a proposal. The group have to make a proposal of the request, right? What you want to do, what it is, what is the objective, what is target. So this is a proposal of a standard, Malaysian standard. Then you have to download the form, then you have to fill the form, and then send your application, right? Then the National Standard Committee that is responsible to ensure consensus is reached during the meeting. So they need to make a meeting first, take your application, right? Then try to get the whole group consensus regarding your proposal, right? Then after that, evaluation of funding and prioritization process, and final decision by Standard Malaysia. So Malaysian Standard will review. They will try to evaluate the funding, because sometimes the funding comes from the industry, right, to make it, and then sometimes they ask for Standard Malaysia, right, Malaysian Standard to supply with the cost, okay, or to fund the standard. So they will evaluate the funding and also prioritization of process, and then the final decision whether they want to go for it or not is responsibility of Standard Malaysia. Okay, after it's granted, right? Funding and prioritization is already there, and NSA have been approved that one, and then you can go for the step number 4, that is draft the Malaysian standard. Now you can start to do the draft, right? Draft Malaysian standard by technical committee or working group, right? Technical committee is the bigger one. Working group is the sub of it. So, in this part, right, you have to select some what do you call that? Some participant on how to participant that are expert to do the Malaysian standard, right? The standard. That one we will we will review who is should be there in the technical committee and working group, right? So this working group will do the drafting of Malaysian standard, and then after they satisfy, they say that okay, the standard now is ready, right? Then they go for a public comment, right? They publish it, okay, publish. Now it is a public comment. So the party who are interested then can read the draft, and if the draft is not satisfied with them, and then they have a really good argument on that, and then they will give the comment to technical committee or working group, right? So they have something like, because some standard, it is because the standard is developed by some people, right? Meaning that normally is key player, but sometimes the key player is not participating the technical committee, and then some small company, they are not invited in the group. So they want to make sure that all people are satisfied with the standard, because sometimes the standard will be a compulsory for doing something, right? So if public cannot see it before it is granted, or it is approved, then it will be yeah, problem in the future for that organization, right? So public comment and proofreading, yeah, make a proofreading first, and then after that you ask for the public comment. So the developing MS is a consensus based, right? It is group consensus based. It is not one player based. One, let's say one company do that, then after then they are deriving this. Sorry, they are driving the uh, the standard, but this is consensus. The players who are doing that industry, or the key of this industry, need to have a consensus on that standard, right? So comments and from all stakeholders are taken into account, right? They have to evaluate all the comments. Okay, then after that, uh, they will get they try to get the NSC approval. So acceptance criteria, the draft accepted by the NSC, right, with the 2/3 majority. It is not it is simple majority, right? It is 2/3 majority. Then they said that this can be approved. And then after that, they get the verification. Normally, for the verification is the last thing that before the standard is approved, right? So this is something like they have to submit for the minister approval for this. When the minister approve, then okay, MS Malaysian standard can be put in the website, and also can be bought by can be bought by the one who want to who need it. So right. So it is a long journey to get a standard. It is not a simple journey, right? So meaning that the standard normally carefully developed, right? It is not something like a lot of people probably, if you mention about standard, some people will mention to you that standard this is developed by ABC company ABC, but actually it is, yes, developed by them probably, but it is something like a consensus. It is not uh, drive by one company. It is not only this company who set the standard, because they also publish it, meaning that they also ask people to contribute, give comment. Okay, this is not fair for this for my company. This is not fair for if this clause my company will what call that uh, will will not get any profit for that, right? Something like that. Okay, so eight step I mentioned, I have already mentioned to you. Then after that, we have something like this one, the Malaysian standard, right? So timeline for development, around 4 to 9 months, right? For adoption of IDT from international standard, 4 to 9 months. So I mentioned to you before, right? So we can develop a new one, and also we can also adopt some other some other international standard from ISO or from IEC, right? So because ISO, because Malaysia is a members also for the ISO organization, so we can adopt the Malaysian standard, sorry, the international standard as a Malaysian standard, right? So for example, the one that I mentioned to you before. So if we want to have a smart card uh, smart card standard, right? Smart card standard. Then if we don't want to develop that, and then there are or there is a well-known standard from the ISO, we just can take and adopt that. For that kind of adoption, it takes around 4 to 9 months to finish, right? Because it's already there, but it's something that you have to review back. The one, is it we take all or we take a part of it, right? So this will take 4 to 9 months. So timeline for development for indigenous MS is 12 to 18 months, right? The one that, yeah, we need to develop by scratch. And then principle for MS development are based on international best practices, right? So this is in the agreement and also ISO guideline 59, guide 21. So this is, if you can read it, yeah, you can just see what it's all about. Next, participation and composition. All right. So we have sectorial committee, we have technical committee, we have work group, and we have public comment process. Right. So this is normally the one who do the standardization. Right. Sorry, the development, and also this is also participate in development, but after the draft is already finished. Right. So this is the composition of committee. So you have committee of sectorial committee, technical committee, working group, and also public comment process. So participation, as I mentioned to you before, who participate with who is participating the committee. So the committee is not only one side, meaning that okay, industry only. It is only what I call that academic only. So there is academic doing the standard. No, that not what call that the good composition of committees, right? The committee is participated by government agency, right? Trade and manufacture organization, right? Something like the organization for factory and so on. So they participate with the uh, standardization development. Professional bodies, something like RJM, the Institute for Engineers, Institute Juruterm Malaysia, or Institute of Engineer Malaysia. Research organization, this is more towards the academic people, and consumer association, the one who use it, and then Institute for Higher Learning. This is also, but this is also can be academic. This is more towards the researcher, right? You can have researcher from government or from higher education. You can also have a researcher from an institute or industry. So this is more open, but this is more towards the academic people, and also you can have representation or representative from industry. Okay, so transparency in development of Malaysian standard, right? Announcement, approve a new work item, you have to announce, right? You need to be transparent, right? People need to see. It is not something that you hiding. You make it in one place. You don't give any information to other people. Then suddenly you say that okay, this is Malaysian standard. No, you cannot do that, right? There is an act that enforce you to make approval and also publish it for public comment, right? So announce draft for public comment, right? You should be transparent. Publication of work program on how you have to publish your work program. Announcement of approval. Okay, you have after public comment. Then if you are approved, you still have to announce it again. Publication of approved standard by government gazette, right? Sales of Malaysian standard. You need to be transparent, right? It is not something that you say that the Malaysian standard is available, but people don't know where to buy it, right? Catalog of Malaysian standard, you can search, searchable, meaning that it's transparent. You can go to the Serim and then you can search for any Malaysian standard that you want. Then, yeah, this is from the website. For publication, you can publish in the website, right? You can publish in the newspaper and also standard quality news, right? So this is the medium of announcement or telling people or make a transparency of Malaysian standard. Okay, guys, I think this is the thing that you have already need to learn about standard, right? Then this is the conclusion of the topic, right? So a standard might simply be defined, as mentioned to you before, that it's a set of rules for ensuring quality. Standard improve software quality and by adopting the highest professional procedures, right? And you get a several benefit of using standard, right? So several organizations produce different standard, okay? And then certification is important to ensure that standard have been applied, one, correctly and adequately. Okay, so this is the end of our what we call it, this chapter number two, right? I just want to make something like at a glance. Okay, so what we have learned, right? We have learned about software quality standard, right? The definition of standard, a set of rules for ensuring quality. This is something like the simple definition of standard, right? So it is something like you agree to do something, a great way to do something, right? So this is definition, right? The definition of standard, and then you know what is the journey to standards, right? It is not something that standard is produced in 2000, or yeah, it's or just started or something. No, it is long way before. You know the history of standard. The ISO is 1946, already in 1946, right? So you know what is the you know the journey of standard, something about a bit on history of standard, right? And then we have learned about what is the benefit of standard, right? The benefit of organization applying standard, right? Then quality, what is quality management system, the QMS, right? And then what is SQA, the things that really important in our course, the software quality assurance, what it is, right? Then we also have learned about what is standards and also procedures, and the organization, right? The organization that uh, develop the standards, right, for the SQA. You should familiar with if people ask you about IEEE. Yes, you know what is IEEE, the ISO, what is IEC, what is ANSI, and so on. So you have something like, oh, that one is standard. ANSI is come from the American standard, and ISO is more international. The IEEE is more toward the electronic and also electric engineers, but they have something like flag for computer society, so they have something like some standard for the SQA, right? So you and then DoD is for military, US military. Then you know what it is. If people saying that, or from the DoD, and then you can imagine DoD for what, ANSI for what, ISO, IEEE. This is the thing, the developer of the software quality assurance standards, right? Then we also learn about some IEEE standard, right? That is related to software quality assurance. Then we also have learned about the certification of standard, right? It is something like you have a process, and also you have a product, and how to get certification of you are following this standard, you are applying this standard. So this is something like you can make a certification of standard, right? You can get certified for ISO 9001 for your business process or organization process, and you can also have a certification of 9126 product certification of software, the one that I've mentioned to you before, that is done by the MSTB in Malaysia, right? So we learn about ISO, the highest thing of what call that standard series, ISO 9000, right? And then after that, we also go for the ISO 9001. We learn about the quality management, and the last one is and then we go for our local standard development, that is Malaysian standard. Then you know what is you can differentiate between the Department of Standard Malaysia responsibility and also the Sirim Berhad responsibility, the one who manage, the one who selling and so on, and one who are setting up the policy for the national interest is the Department of Standard Malaysia, right? So Sirim Berhad more on operational side, right? Okay, and then that's all. So we also going through the development process of Malaysian standard, right? The 8 steps, right? The one that have to be if you want to develop a standard of Malaysian standard, sorry to say, right? So this is a participation, who participate with the development of standard and so on, right? So any question, guys? Hello?
Yes,
No, doctor.
doctor.
Yes, Hazim. Hazik, sorry, Hazik, you have any question?
Yeah. Is there what happen if we don't have standards?
Oh, what happened if you don't have standards? Then if you don't have standard, then your process of developing something, it is not uniform, right? For example, if I want to buy a server to your company, right? So let's say you have a hardware company, right? Hardware company that supply servers, that supply PC and so on, right? So before I buy before sorry to buy a server in your company, you mentioned to me that okay, first you have to you have to give me the requirement. What is the requirement of the hardware? The what call that? And the processor and so on, then I give it to you. Then after that you give me the quotation, right? So and then after that I give the approval that this is the one that I want. Then after that you give me the invoice, then I pay, and then you give me the the hardware, right? So this is the process. But if you don't have standard, you can make something like okay, the second time I buy, oh no, you give me the requirement, I give you straight the invoice. Then after that, when I get the invoice and they say that yeah, okay, then after that the one that the material that that have been given to me is not the one that I need, or something like that. So every process is not in the uniform, right? So there's problem. The customer will something like not satisfied with it, because sometimes you can deliver the same product in 1 week, and the second request, the same product you give to me around 1 month, right? So you don't have a standard for that. So if you have a standard, then you can make sure that all in place, meaning that if this product is should be delivered 1 week, and then it should be delivered in 1 week, because you are following the standard that you have already developed. Is it clear, Hazik?
Yes. Thank you, doctor.
Welcome. Okay, guys. Any more questions? Don't forget to sign up your attendance in Putra Blast, okay, before you leave. Okay, regarding your second assignment, group assignment, I would like to ask you whether you have uh, do you have a requirement specification, software requirement specification?
From the previous
For
one.
what?
Yeah, from the previous one, from the previous or if you have developed in other uh, other topics or other subject?
I don't have mine because my laptop went bad yesterday and I had to delete and it got deleted. It, so I had to reset it. So that's why I don't have it.
Okay, no worries, Abida, because I just asked you if you have it, it's fine. But if you don't have it, I think you can also get from the internet, because I found it, yeah, quite much SRS, software requirement specification in the internet that you can download and you can use it. So because the next one, I just want to inform you that you will do the inspection of SRS. So you need to collect an SRS, right? But the SRS that you collect is not, you will not use it for inspection, because you will hand over the one that you found to your friend. To other, it's not to your friend, to other another group. But that one I will give a detailed instruction. Just I would just want to know whether you have any SRS before or not. Yeah, that's fine. It's okay. Any questions? Any question, guys? Any question? More question? Is there any question about chapter number 2? We already finished chapter number 2, and then 1 and 2 will be in your first assessment, yeah? Or your first test. Yes, Faris. Yes. Okay.
Doctor,
Yep.
if a company
Mm-hmm.
create a standard, then
Mm-hmm.
should the other that associated or dealing with the company should follow the standard that have been created?
Follow if they are dealing with the company, yes.
Hmm.
But it is not bind to the company. Let's say the company is the supplier for the company A is a supplier for company B. In order to if for the communication, if company A have something like a standard for communication, then company B have to follow. But it doesn't mean that company B A and company B also have to have a standard. For example,
Oh,
okay,
okay, okay. Thank you, Doctor.
right. For example, company A
Hmm.
have already ISO 9001, right? But company B, the one who supply the material for company A, they don't have any standard, right? But it is not something like a compulsory that company B also have to apply the ISO 9001, right? But in order, but if the communication between company A and company B is already what call that, uh, already have a standard, right? By the company A, so company B have to yeah, to do to apply the standard, the one that already mentioned by company A. But yeah, it's up to company A and company B to apply a standard or not. But if something like company A is a big company, but company B is small company that supply material to the company A, and then if company A saying that if you want to supply, we are ISO 9001, the company who supply us need also to have ISO 9001. Then the company B, if they want to supply, they have to fulfill with ISO 9001. But it's not compulsory both companies to have the same standard.
Sir,
Yeah.
sir, for assignment 2, is it gonna be a group project?
Yes, group project. It's not single one. It's a group project. That's why
So,
that's why I asked you to give your name, right? Name of your group. If you don't have, if you didn't give to me yet. Sorry.
sir, how many members do we need minimum?
Uh, how many person? I hope that you have 4 group members.
Okay, sir.
Okay. guys. Okay. Yes,
Doctor,
Anis. Yes.
about the SRS just now, are you asking about our previous project or?
Yeah, yeah. If you have from your previous project,
Oh, okay, okay.
right? If you have.
We actually have done projects
Mm-hmm.
for that course lah.
Okay, for the requirement course, right?
Mm.
Okay, so that's fine. Because the group that don't have it is fine. You can also take requirement from the internet, right? Because I
Oh,
found some of it in the internet. That's okay. That's fine.
okay, Doctor. Sure.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yeah.
I just like email you, or how do I send you the group member's name?
You should just give me an email, all the members of your group.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, because for group one, I receive around 4 groups only, and I expecting around maybe 8 groups. So another 4 groups didn't give the group name yet. Okay, that's fine. So you can make it this week. Just email me your group members. So because next week I will give you the instruction and I will teach you a bit on how to inspect SRS. Then after that you have to do it in I think around 3 weeks. It's a group. Assignment. So thank you very much, guys. Any more questions before I end this session?
No, Doctor.
No, doctor.
Okay, thank you very much. So I end this session. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you, Doctor.
See you next
Thank
week,
you,
inshallah.
doctor.
Welcome.
Thank you, doctor.
Thank you, Doctor.
Welcome.